Hello, my Taurus Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. Welcome. This is your August 2026 forecast. If you feel called to watch this reading, but you don't have any Taurus placements, you're still more than welcome to stay, as always. There may be a message in here that you are meant to hear. I'm going to start with a very quick overview of what is happening astrologically for Taurus in the month of August. And then we'll move into the tarot questions, just to see how these energies may be affecting you personally. As always, this is a collective reading, so take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Let's get straight into it. Alright, Taurus, August looks like a significant month for your home, family life, emotional security, and the foundations you're building your future upon. We have Jupiter moving through Leo alongside a total solar eclipse in Leo around the middle of the month. For Taurus rising especially, this activates your fourth house. So there could be changes involving your living situation, family dynamics, responsibilities, or simply what you need in order to feel safe and settled. At the same time, Pluto is continuing to transform your career and public direction. Some of you may be trying to balance what you're building externally with what is happening behind closed doors. Chiron is also retrograding in Taurus, bringing up deeper healing around your confidence, your body, your self-worth, and whether you truly believe you deserve the life you're trying to create. Then at the end of August, we have a lunar eclipse in Pisces, highlighting friendships, community, your audience, and your long-term dreams. You may be seeing clearly who supports your future, what goals still matter to you, and what you have quietly outgrown. So the overall theme feels like rebuilding your foundations, redefining your security, and making sure the future you're creating actually feels like somewhere you want to live. Let's get on to the questions. Alright, Taurus, so the energy you're entering August with feels very focused, but also slightly impatient. The Eight of Pentacles shows that you've been putting consistent effort into something. This could be your work, finances, a creative project, your home, or even working on yourself. You haven't just been wishing for change, you've actually been trying to build it. But I do feel like some of you are questioning whether all of this effort is producing results quickly enough. Because the Knight of Swords brings in this sudden urgency. It feels like you're entering August ready to make a decision, have a conversation, or finally move something forward. You may have been patient for quite a while, but now there's this energy of, okay, I've waited long enough, what are we actually doing? Just be mindful of rushing because you're frustrated. There's a difference between taking decisive action and trying to force an outcome before it's ready. Then the Seven of Pentacles confirms that something has been developing, but it hasn't fully matured yet. You may be looking at everything you have invested, your time, energy, money, or emotions, and asking whether it's still worth continuing. But with two Pentacle cards here, August begins with a very practical focus. This could strongly connect to your finances, career, home life, or your overall sense of security, which fits the astrology we just discussed. This isn't necessarily saying to give up, it's asking you to step back and assess what is actually growing and what has only been consuming your energy. Then the Page of Wands feels like the spark that begins returning once you make that assessment. There may be a new idea, message, opportunity, or direction appearing that makes you feel excited again. Some of you could be considering learning something new, starting a creative project, or taking a slightly different path than the one you originally planned. So you're entering August as someone who has already done a lot of the groundwork. The question now isn't whether you're capable of creating results. You clearly are. The question is whether you keep investing in the same direction or allow yourself to follow the new spark that's beginning to appear. Okay, so our second question is, what part of yourself or your identity are you being asked to reconsider? Okay, so with the Three of Swords, the part of yourself you're being asked to reconsider may be the version of you that has been shaped by disappointment. The Three of Swords suggests there's been an experience, possibly rejection, heartbreak, betrayal, or simply something not working out the way you expected that has affected how you now approach opportunities. You may tell yourself you're just being realistic, but part of you could actually be expecting the past to repeat itself. For Taurus, this may connect strongly to your self-worth. Have you started defining yourself by something that hurt you? Are you still carrying the belief that because one situation failed, you somehow failed with it? This also fits with Chiron retrograding through Taurus. Old insecurities may come back up, but not because you're meant to stay inside them. You're being shown where an old wound has quietly become part of your identity, because the wheel is saying that this story is changing. You're not in the same position you were in when that disappointment happened. The circumstances have shifted, you've learned more, and a new cycle is beginning. But you have to allow yourself to respond differently this time. There may also be something unexpected turning in your favor during August. But if you're convinced that things always go wrong, you may struggle to trust it when the wheel begins moving. So the identity you're being asked to reconsider is the person who believes they always have to protect themselves from the next disappointment. You can acknowledge what hurt without allowing it to decide what happens next. Question 3, we're looking at, what is the Leo solar eclipse beginning for you, Taurus? Okay, the fact that the moon came out for a solar eclipse question is interesting because this eclipse may initially bring uncertainty rather than an immediate answer. Something connected to your home life, family, emotional security, or private world could feel unclear. You may sense that change is coming before you fully understand what that change looks like. The moon can also bring hidden emotions to the surface. You may realize that something you've been calling stability has actually been maintained through fear, habit, or avoiding a difficult truth. But the Nine of Pentacles shows what this eclipse is moving you towards: greater independence, confidence, and security within yourself. Some Taurus people may be creating a more independent living situation, improving their finances, establishing stronger boundaries with family, or learning that they don't need someone else's approval to feel secure. This feels like building a life that is genuinely comfortable for you, not simply continuing with what is familiar because change feels risky. And the King of Swords suggests that a clear decision will eventually need to be made. You may need to separate facts from fear, communicate a boundary, or approach an emotional situation with more objectivity. This doesn't mean becoming cold. It means not allowing guilt, confusion, or family expectations to make the decision for you. There may also be a conversation with someone who carries King of Swords energy, someone direct or logical, or with a lot of authority. Or this could even be you stepping into that energy yourself. So although the eclipse may begin with uncertainty, it appears to be leading Taurus towards greater independence and a much clearer understanding of what you need in order to feel safe. I'm really stumbling over my words today. You don't have to know exactly how everything will unfold immediately, but you may already know what can no longer remain the same. All right, Taurus, so what's happening in love and relationships during August for you? Taurus, when it comes to love and relationships, August seems to begin with some disappointment or emotional heaviness that you're still carrying. The Five of Cups can show regret, grieving how something unfolded, or focusing on what you hoped a relationship would become rather than what it has actually been. For some of you, this may be connected to a past person. For others, you could still be in the relationship, but mourning the version of it that you thought you were going to have. There's still a cup standing behind this person, so not everything has been lost. There may be love or emotional support available to you, but you need to turn away from what cannot be changed long enough to recognize it, because the Ace of Cups shows a completely different emotional energy entering. This can absolutely represent a new romantic beginning, someone expressing their feelings, or an existing connection being given the opportunity to start again from a healthier place. But before this is about another person, it can also be about your own heart reopening. You may finally feel ready to receive love without immediately comparing it to what happened in the past. The progression from the Five of Cups into the Ace of Cups is very clear. Something disappointing is not the end of your love story. It may actually be creating space for a much more emotionally fulfilling beginning. And then we have the World, which brings completion. For some Taurus people, August may finally close out a relationship cycle that has remained emotionally unfinished. You could receive the closure you needed, or simply reach the point where you no longer require another person to give it to you. For others, this new beginning could lead to a relationship becoming more complete or moving into its next stage. The world can sometimes indicate distance, travel, or an online connection as well, so that may be relevant for a few of you. But overall, it feels like you're completing one emotional chapter and opening another almost simultaneously. Something may still need to be grieved, but you're not being left in the Five of Cups. You're moving towards the Ace of Cups and the world. A fresh emotional beginning that comes because you are finally ready to stop repeating the old cycle. All right, and then the next question we're looking at is the relationship truth you guys need to see. Okay, so around home or family, August may bring a need for clearer boundaries and more direct communication. The Queen of Swords can show someone becoming less willing to tolerate confusion, emotional manipulation, or responsibilities that have been unfairly placed on them. For some of you, this could be your energy. You may finally be saying what you need, making a firm decision, or creating some distance from a family situation so you can think clearly. For others, there may be a strong Queen of Swords figure involved, someone independent, direct, or emotionally guarded. A conversation with this person could become important during this month. The Knight of Wands brings movement and change, so something around the home may happen quite quickly. This could be travel, someone coming and going, a sudden change in living arrangements, or a family member making an impulsive decision. There may also be some reckless energy in the home. Someone could feel ready to leave, relocate, or break away from a situation that has started to feel restrictive. With the Leo eclipse activating home and family themes for Taurus rising, this does feel like a month where the household dynamic may not remain exactly as it has been. The Six of Pentacles brings the focus back to balance. Who is giving, who is receiving, and whether responsibilities are being shared fairly. Some of you may be receiving practical support from family, helping someone financially, or having conversations around bills, housing, or shared resources. But this card can also reveal an imbalance. You may realize that you've been giving far more time, energy, or support than you're receiving in return. So the home and family message for August is about creating a fairer arrangement. There may be movement or a direct conversation first, but the goal is not necessarily conflict. It's to establish clearer boundaries and make sure that one person is not carrying everything alone.